Good afternoon. This is a retired guy on Main Street Sanity, a retiree's take. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about our country and the Socialist Party. And I always like to make sure I preface for anybody who's new that's listening. I say now we have three parties in government. We have the Republican Party, the Socialist Party, and the Democrat Party. And the Democrat Party has one member, John Fetterman. All the rest of them are socialists. And I'm starting to believe that we're to a point that the Socialist Party is leaning to be like a third world party. And I mean by what do they want? If you think about it, in everything they say, they have no policies, none whatsoever. They offer nothing. All they want to do is overthrow the elected president of the United States. And what does that sound like? A dictatorship. If you listen to Jeffries the other day, he doesn't give a damn what you think about him and what he in the rhetoric that he's spewing out of his lips. That sounds like a third world dictator. It does. And I'm starting to believe, all joking aside, that they are agents of foreign governments. They're pro-Iran. They have all said that Iran is winning the war. It doesn't. John Fetterman is the only one that doesn't say anything, but then he's the only Democrat. You listen to that waste of flesh Murphy, waste of flesh Van Hollen, waste of flesh Schumer, waste of flesh Ocasio Crazy, Rashida Taliban, another waste of flesh, Plywood, Jalopy, or however you say her name, another waste of flesh. They're all waste of flesh. And they're all rooting for Iran. They're anti-military. They're definitely not rooting for the military. Their only goal is to overthrow the President of the United States. I mean, they're idiots to begin with, saying that they want to invoke the 25th Amendment, and they can't. But that just shows how stupid they are. And you can't fix stupid. You can't. These people need to be eradicated out of the United States of America. We need to chase them to Canada, to Mexico, any socialist country that wants them. We should chase them there. If you listen to that complete waste of skin, Joyless Reed, and Representative Crotchet, they're from Texas, and Pig O'Donnell, Rosie, which goes to show that men can breed with pigs, and that's what you get. All saying that the president staged this in Butler, Pennsylvania. That's what they think. I mean, and they're saying that, and there's stupid people out there that are going to believe that. But yet, they're incapable to take any responsibility or accountability. in their actions and what they say now, and running our government when you talk about Congress and the Senate with the Socialist Party. Zero accountability, zero responsibility. They're a complete waste of oxygen, in my thoughts. And they're okay. They approve violence. Look at Tampon Tim. Trying to take credit for what the FBI and the Department of Justice is doing there in that cesspool of a state, Minnesota, which is overrun by Somalis, which need to go back to Somalia. Get them out of our country. Get them off of our taxpayers' dollars paying for their life. I don't care if they're homeless, get them on the streets and put them back on the streets of Somalia. I'm sorry. And I think they ought to say, oh man, I married my brother with them. And rhetoric, which is now forcing our side hate and rhetoric. But I will say, when you get to the Republicans, the Senate, and Congress, you need to start showing some backbone. You need to start fighting fire with fire, because if not, they're just going to keep doing this until you fight fire with fire. I'm sorry, that's the Socialist Party is like the Iranians. The only thing that stops them is more force. You can't negotiate with them. You can't. Think about it. You can't negotiate with Shammer, Shifless, Jeffries, Hooker, Booker, whatever. Rashida Taliban. You can't negotiate with these people. They're incapable of negotiating. They're just like Iranians. Exactly. Think about it. You need to fight fire with fire. You do that, you will keep them out of power forever and ever. Until more, John Fetterman can start recruiting some common sense Democrats and not socialists. And don't forget about scam burglar in Virginia, that wolf in sheep's clothing. She lied through her teeth. Yeah, she's moderate, all right. Moderately far left. So if you don't fight fire with fire, we're going to lose. And what I mean is lose, we could lose a president to an assassination, or the socialist courts start running more their way than they already are. And you need to put a stop on it now. You need to blockade them like the president blockaded the Iranians and make them suffer. That's the only way we have a chance to bring some of them back to common sense. You're not going to bring many of them. And hopefully common sense individuals could be recruited. Because right now, they're just getting far left crazies. And until Thune, you Johnson, you Republican Party, show some balls and say, we're stopping, this is the line, no more. And if that calls for nuking the filibuster, Do it because they're going to do it. They've already said they're going to do it. They tell you what they're going to do, and they do it. Because they stick together because they're crazy. You need to stand up and say, enough is enough. People like you, Paul, McConnell, Markowski, what's the one out of North Carolina? You know who I'm talking about because you decided to vote for the new chairman of the FTC. Uh, uh, Massey, you're a complete waste of skin, anyways. But you need to, if you have any ounce of dignity and for being a Republican, no more, I don't want to do this, that's not right. It's, as friggin' Jeffrey says, this is war. And it's a war you don't want to lose because 77 million other people will lose because you guys don't have the guts. It's time to get the guts and do it. Because, like I said, they've already said they're going to do it. And if you ever believe, if Chuck Schumer stood up there and says, I would not nuke the filibuster ever, don't forget the one thing. When he wants to see his testicles, he has to go to Ocasio-Crazy because she has them. Because he doesn't want to get to her to run against him. Because he has to have that power. He can't let it go. He's been useless for years, but he can't let that go. So, she's pulling them testicles. Here, Chuck, say yes. Say yes, Chuck. Say no, Chuck. That's her. So get on board, show some backbone, and run the country. No more of this. Well, if you guys sit there and say, well, if you want us to vote for this, you got to give us this. And well, if you want us to do this, you got to give us this. Why can't you guys just say, okay, Homeland Security, Department of Homeland Security, here's the departments, here's the budget. We're going to vote yes on it. We're going to vote yes on it. Why do you have to add shit to it? Pardon my language. No, you don't add stuff to it. This is the budget for this. If you want something, you go fight for that one thing. But you don't hold other stuff up because you want to add something to it because you want something. No. Once again, get some backbone, stand up, say, okay, here, I want to put this on the floor. I want this. Make your case, sell your case. But that's what it's gotten down to. In order for something to pass, we got to add this to it, and we got to add this to it. And it's ridiculous. So a $50 budget, by the time you want to add stupid stuff to it, is now a $500 budget. When it should have been a $50 budget. That's crap. It should always be this budget is for these departments and this budget only. If it doesn't have to do with Homeland Security, it doesn't get done. And roads and bridges and stuff like this, or crops, or this or that, has nothing to do with Homeland Security. It doesn't get put in that budget. I don't understand why you guys can't do that, or why you're incapable of doing that. I know why the Socialist Party is incapable of doing it, because they're like Iranians. But if you want to be better, be better and do it that way. And when the Socialist Iranian Party doesn't want to vote for it, say, fine, don't vote for it. We'll pass it anyways. And people say, hey, they want to add this, this, and this as part of Homeland Security, or they want to take out this and this. And if you listen to those dead from the neck up Socialist Iranian Party, of course, they want open borders, and they want illegal aliens to vote. That's all they want. So if you want to keep them out of power, it's time to step up and take power. You guys don't have power because you can't work together. I said this one time before, the 2024 election, you shut the door on them. When the president was elected and we got Congress and the Senate, you're fighting now to see who can hold the door open to let them back in. That's exactly what you're doing. So, time to get on one side of the door and push it shut and hold it shut. That's your goal. It's not the opposite, but that's exactly what you're doing. Okay, that's enough for my rant today. Sorry, but I just got aggravated when they sit there want to blame the guy who's getting shot at for getting shot at. Think about it. So, anyway, this is a retired guy. I always tell you my email is retiredguys@myyahoo.com. Feel free to send me an email. Comments would always be welcome. If you like this, please let other people know. I'd appreciate it. Again, I decided to try this because I saw other people, doing it. They're doing their podcasts. I mean, they are much more elaborate. I mean, they get the big microphones and obviously, a lot of these people are getting paid and so on and so forth. And I'm just small time. If I ever got there, I'd get there and I'd go bigger, but haven't got there yet, as everyone can tell. So until next time, let's be safe. And for you Republicans, take control. You don't have control. You're slowly giving it back. You need to stop and snatch it back. Till next time, everybody, have a good day.